Pay close attention. There's a nice gesture most people make without thinking, and it quietly turns into a leak. You give, and the money slips away. That's why you keep ending up short. And the most dangerous part? It's not bad intention. It's innocence. There are 5 very common things that live inside your home. And when you give them away, you also hand over a piece of your focus, your stability, and your ability to provide. I'm going to show you all 5, one by one, and you'll recognize them immediately. But stay with me because number 3 is the one that brings the strongest women down, precisely because it looks like the right thing to do. What I'm sharing comes from a symbolic and educational perspective, inspired by Jewish traditions. This is not a miracle promise. It's about what you allow to leave your home and what you must learn to protect. Before I reveal the first one, type a short sentence in the comments. I stop leaking, I start protecting. And subscribe now. This channel is new, and here we go straight to the point. Protection, order, and ethical prosperity. No fantasy, no fluff. Take a breath with me. What I'm teaching you is not a miracle, and it's not empty motivation. It's a symbolic, practical way, rooted in tradition and values, to help you see something simple. Your home has invisible leaks, and some of them begin the moment you gift what should never be given away. Today you're going to discover 5 things, 5, and I'll show you how, in real life, they affect your sense of safety, your organization, your calm, and whether money stays or quietly disappears. And listen carefully. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. This is about awareness, about boundaries, about protecting what's yours without guilt. Here's how we'll do it. I'll reveal each one, explain why it matters, and at the end I'll give you a simple closing practice, something to seal it so you sleep lighter tonight. And if you want to learn this kind of protection and order every week, subscribe now. This channel is new, and your subscription signals YouTube to show this to more women who truly need it. Let's start with the first thing, the most common, the most harmless, and therefore the most dangerous for women who keep saying, I don't understand why my money never stretches. The first thing wealthy or financially stable people almost never give away the way most people do, even with good intentions, is used kitchen items and everyday cooking tools, pots, pans, that mug set that's been in the house forever, that favorite serving dish, containers, utensils, things that seem simple. And let me explain this calmly, the right way, no drama. For many women, the kitchen is more than a place to cook. It's where you provide, where you organize, where you care for others, where you make things last. So when you mess with what sustains that routine, your body reads it as messing with your foundation. This is where symbolism comes in. Some objects aren't just objects. They become memory of effort. They become, I can handle this. They become, I keep this household standing. And when you give those away impulsively, especially during a tight season, you send your brain a quiet message. I'm letting go of what supports me. That's not superstition. That's psychology. That's identity. That's habit. Now here's something almost no one notices. People with money, or at least stability, tend to give with emotional distance. They donate what doesn't carry survival history. But women who are already stretched thin often give away what holds emotional weight. The things that kept the house together for years. That creates an internal sense of loss that turns into anxiety. And anxiety turns into spending, into disorganization, into small leaks that add up. Let me tell you a short story. You'll recognize it. A 58-year-old woman, let's call her Helen, had 2 old, heavy pots, the kind that last decades. She used them when she needed food to stretch, when family came over, when she cooked the meals that felt grounding and safe. One day a neighbor asked for help. With a good heart, Helen gave away those exact 2 pots. In the weeks that followed, something felt off. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't lack of faith. It was discomfort. The kitchen felt unsteady. Cooking brought no pleasure. And the phrase she started repeating said everything. It feels like money just slips through my fingers. She became more restless, more sensitive, more irritated by small bills. And when we live in that state, money doesn't disappear by magic. It disappears through distraction, emotional decisions, and exhaustion. The point is not, don't help anyone. The point is this: don't give away your foundation on impulse. And I know you're a helper, I know. But a woman who helps everyone and forgets to protect herself becomes an easy target for burnout. So here's the practical rule for item number 1, something you can actually apply today. If you want to donate kitchen items, do it the right way. Never give on the spot in response to the request. Say, let me go through things calmly and I'll get back to you. That one sentence already puts you back in control. Don't give away what you use to make things stretch. Give the extra, the duplicate, the things that don't carry your day-to-day survival routine. Before handing it over, pause for 10 seconds and say quietly, I help without emptying myself. It's simple, but it shifts your inner posture. You stop abandoning yourself just to be nice. And if you already gave something away and felt that uncomfortable feeling afterward, like something stayed open, do this. Choose a small act of restoration. Very practical. Spend 5 minutes today organizing your kitchen. Throw out what's broken. Wipe one drawer. Separate what you actually use. Because when your kitchen feels like yours again, your mind can breathe. And a breathing mind makes better decisions. Now let me ask you something directly. Have you ever given something from your kitchen and then felt like life got heavier afterward? You don't have to comment, just acknowledge it privately and pay attention to what I'm about to say. The next item is even quieter, because it doesn't look like a problem, but it creates a feeling of life being stuck. And when life feels stuck, prosperity gets stuck with it. Oh, and if you know a good woman, the kind who gives too much and ends up struggling later, share this video with her, not as criticism, as care. Sometimes all someone needs to hear is one sentence. Helping is not emptying yourself. Take a breath. Let's move to the second one. Now the second item is more silent than the first, because a lot of people look at it and think, oh, that has nothing to do with money. But it has everything to do with what comes before money: movement. The second thing many people keep, and sometimes even give as a gift, that financially stable people avoid, is this: broken, cracked, stalled, or lifeless objects inside the home. And let me be very clear, this is not superstition. This is about a psychological pattern that weighs heavily, especially on women who carry the household on their shoulders, because your home isn't just a place. Your home is your external nervous system. When you live surrounded by things that don't work, don't move, don't resolve, you start feeling like life itself isn't moving. And when life feels stalled, what do you think happens to opportunities? They stall too. Think about it with me. A clock that doesn't work isn't just a clock. It becomes a daily reminder of, I'll deal with it later. A cracked mirror isn't just a mirror. It becomes that subtle feeling of, something isn't whole. A light bulb that doesn't turn on becomes lack of light, and the human brain is incredibly symbolic. It does this without asking permission. Here's where this quietly hits your finances. Stagnant things create delay. Delay creates irritation. Irritation leads to poor decisions. Poor decisions become small leaks. An impulse purchase, a late payment, a fee, a headache you could have avoided. Now there's an important detail here. Good women, especially caretakers, tend to keep broken things for two very strong reasons. Emotional attachment. This belonged to my mom, my dad, guilt. Throwing it away feels ungrateful. And I truly understand that. But let me give you a sentence that changes everything. You can honor the memory without living inside the damage. Honoring is not clinging. Honoring is thanking and letting go. Let me tell you a short story. It's more common than you think. A man kept an old wall clock that hadn't worked in years. One day he decided to give it to his nephew, thinking, maybe he'll fix it. He believed he was helping. What happened afterward wasn't punishment or bad luck. It was predictable. He started running late. Payments were delayed. Clients rescheduled. Commitments became messy. And the atmosphere at home felt heavy. Why? Because when you live with what's stalled, you normalize being stalled. You begin accepting delays, pending issues, disorder. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And without realizing it, you start accepting things you shouldn't accept. poor service, bad pricing, empty promises, a debt that quietly grows. Now pay close attention, because here's where we go further than most scripts. I'm not just going to scare you, I'm going to give you a way to fix this today. Practical rule for item number 2. You don't need to throw everything away or run around the house. You only need one act of command, and that act is this. Choose one stalled object and close the cycle. Just one. It can look like this. Either you fix it, or you give it to someone who truly fixes things, without passing the problem forward, or you let it go respectfully. And here's the secret almost no one talks about. What frees you isn't the letting go itself. What frees you is the decision, because decision restores energy. Decision restores direction, and direction restores movement. If that object holds emotional value, do it the right way, without guilt. Hold it for a moment and say quietly, "Thank you for what you represented. I'm making room for what's next." Simple. But phrases like this shift your inner posture. You leave survival and attachment mode and step into order and future mode. And guess who attracts more opportunities? People who are oriented toward the future. Now let me ask you, gently but firmly, is there something in your home that's broken, stalled, pushed aside? Something you see every day and feel a weight from? A mirror, a clock, a decorative piece, an appliance, a lamp. If there is, choose one. Just one. Because a small action done with intention creates a big shift in your mental state. And I know someone is thinking, but does this really have anything to do with money? It does. Because prosperity isn't just money coming in. Prosperity is the ability to sustain peace and order. When you sustain order, you sustain decision. When you sustain decision, you sustain money. Now I want to give you a quick 10-second challenge so you can feel the effect right now. Picture your home in your mind and complete this sentence. Today I close loops. I don't accumulate weight. That's it. Your mind is already pointing in the right direction. And before I reveal item number 3, which is the most delicate and for that exact reason, the one that brings generous women down the most, I want you to do one thing. If this second item already hits you, tap like now. Not for vanity, just so I know you want me to keep going in this direct, no-fluff direction, because the next point goes straight to self-worth and boundaries. Now listen very carefully. Item number 3 is not about broken things. It's about things that are too personal, things you give thinking it's kindness, but that actually drain you. And when you drain yourself, you lose strength. When you lose strength, you lose money too. Let's go there. Now, the third item, and I need you to hear me with care here because this is where many women get hurt without realizing it. If item number 1 was about the foundation of the home, and item number 2 was about stored life energy, item number 3 is the one that affects good women the most for a simple reason. It touches what's intimate, what's yours, what gives you dignity. The third thing financially stable people tend to avoid giving, and especially receiving, is overly personal items, things that carry your intimacy, your identity, and your self-care energy. And when I say personal, I'm not just talking about underwear. I'm talking about anything that, when you give it away, triggers a quiet inner sentence. I'm not a priority. Here's why this is dangerous. Generous women are often more comfortable giving than receiving. Over time, that becomes an emotional habit. You give to feel like a good person, but inside you slowly empty out. And when you're empty, you become fragile. When you're fragile, you accept less than you deserve, including financially. So let's be very clear. There is a type of donation that isn't charity. It's self-neglect in disguise, and I know you don't do it with bad intentions. You do it because you learn to survive by taking care of everyone else. But life collects its price. It collects it from your body, from your sleep, from your anxiety, and yes, from your money. Here's a very common example. Someone prepares bags of clothes to donate and in the middle of it adds items that are deeply personal. Sometimes out of rush, sometimes out of shame, sometimes because of that thought, oh, this doesn't matter. But it does, because your brain reads that as, I'm getting rid of myself. Now I want you to understand one concept that changes everything. No mysticism required. Boundaries are prosperity, because boundaries protect your energy. Protected energy becomes clarity. Clarity becomes decision. Decision becomes money. So here's the practical rule for item number 3. You can donate many things, but don't donate what represents you. Don't give away what touches your intimacy. Don't give away what you reach for when you need to feel safe. Don't give away what carries your personal history of "I endured, I held things together." And here's something important to understand. If someone offers you something that's too intimate, too used, too personal, and you accept it out of pity, you pay for it later with discomfort. Discomfort creates disorder. Disorder creates leaks. Let me tell you a short story, because this is the kind of thing we only really understand when we see it play out. A woman, let's call her Isabel, was a genuinely good person. The kind who helps, the kind who struggles to say no. She decided to donate a lot of clothes. She did it with a sincere heart, but mixed in she added items that were too personal, things that had been very close to her body, her daily life, her intimacy. In the weeks that followed, something shifted. She felt a nameless exhaustion, a lack of motivation, a low-grade irritation with everything. And the money? It stopped stretching. Nothing dramatic, just that familiar feeling. Money comes in, money goes out. And you don't understand why. She sought guidance and heard a sentence I want you to remember. When you give parts of yourself away without awareness, you lose your grounding. And without grounding, you lose negotiating power, you lose discipline, you lose rhythm. And prosperity, and which depends on rhythm, starts to falter. Now I don't want to leave you with just a story. I want to give you something very practical and very respectful. If you've already donated something too personal and felt that inner "I shouldn't have," you don't need to go into guilt. Guilt doesn't fix anything. Guilt only traps you. What fixes things is a gesture of restoration. Choose one of these, simple and doable. Do one act of self-care today. Something small. Take time with your hair. Use a lotion. Choose clothes that make you feel dignified. That sends a direct message to your brain. I came back to myself. Reorganize one personal drawer, just one. And while you do it, repeat quietly. I respect myself. I protect myself. I don't empty myself. If you're sorting donations, create a rule. Donations don't happen on impulse. They happen with discernment. Only donate what's neutral, what doesn't carry your intimacy. And here's something that sounds simple, but truly changes your trajectory. A woman who protects herself prospers, because she stops living reactively. She stops living drained. She stops putting out fires all the time. She starts choosing. Now I'm going to touch the sore spot, gently but honestly, because this is where the game really changes. If you're constantly giving away deeply personal things, if you keep accepting things that don't feel good out of pity, if you keep swallowing discomfort just to not upset anyone, you're training your brain to accept less, and anyone who accepts less emotionally ends up accepting less financially too. You start accepting bad prices, late payments, empty promises, crumbs. And then you ask, why do I keep struggling with money? Because money in the end reflects how you position yourself, and positioning starts in the intimate, private places. So let's pause here. This is the perfect moment for something our audience already loves to do because it strengthens you and strengthens other women too. Comment now simply, I respect myself and I protect myself. Say it your way if you want, but write it, because when you declare it, you remember. And when you remember, you change. And if you feel this message was meant for you, I'm going to ask you something firmly. Don't abandon yourself after this video ends. Write the phrase down. Repeat it tomorrow. Make one small gesture. Because prosperity begins in daily actions, not in speeches. Now stay with this energy because item number 4 may surprise you. A lot of people think it's just a small thing, but it directly affects how protected your home feels. And when the home loses its sense of protection, money turns into worry. Let's go to the 4th one. Now, the 4th item, and I need you to understand why it's so dangerous. Because it looks small. It looks harmless. It looks like kindness. And that's exactly why it goes unnoticed. The fourth thing many people give, lend, or casually let leave the house, while stable people treat it with much more care, is a simple kitchen item that affects the sense of protection in the home. Let me be very direct. Some objects within daily routines become symbols of safety. And when you give up that symbol, even just for a few days, you create the feeling that the house is exposed. An exposed house creates an alert mind. An alert mind becomes tired, worried, hypervigilant, and a tired, worried mind spends more, misjudges more, disorganizes more, and money leaves through small, almost invisible leaks. Have you noticed that in phases when you feel unprotected, your mind never really rests? You think more, you worry more, you buy things to soothe yourself, or you postpone what actually matters. It's not lack of ability, it's wear and tear. So item number 4 is this: lending or gifting what you use as daily protection inside your home, especially items connected to the kitchen and the table. And before anyone says that's too much, think about this. Why does the kitchen keep coming up? Because for the women listening to me, women who hold households together, raise children, help with grandkids, manage routines, the kitchen is the place of stretching. It's where you feel whether life is under control or not. Now let me give you a mental image. Some people lend a kitchen item the same way they'd lend a pen. But in that home, it's not a pen. It's the backbone of the day. And when it leaves, the house feels it. Let me tell you a short story I've seen repeat itself many times with small variations. A man ran a small food business, the kind that depends on detail, flavor, rhythm. In his kitchen, there was one object that had always been there, for years. One day, someone asked to borrow it. He lent it out because he didn't want to say no. Not long after, he started noticing small things. The food didn't stretch the same way. The atmosphere felt heavier. Family arguments over nothing. Little expenses popping up out of nowhere. Do you see? It's not that the object has magic power, it's what the object represents. When you break a pattern of stability, your system goes into alert mode, and alert mode leads to disorganization. So what's the practical rule for item number 4? Rule number 1. Your home needs a core that doesn't leave. It may sound simple, but it changes your posture. You create limits, and limits are prosperity. Rule number 2. If someone asks for something you use as a base, you don't have to be rude. You can say kindly, "I can't lend this one, but I'll help you another way." That's it. You help, without draining yourself. Rule number 3. If you already lent it out and felt that uneasy feeling, close the loop. How? With a gesture of restoration. Bring order back to the central point of the kitchen or the home. A quick reset, a simple clean, a clear decision. This stays. And here's something our audience loves because it brings immediate relief. A short phrase to say while you do it. Repeat with me, quietly, in your own way. In my home, what sustains stays. What's mine remains. You don't need to believe anything mystically. Just notice the psychological effect. When you affirm, you stabilize. When you stabilize, you choose better. When you choose better, the leaks stop. And if you're thinking, "But I don't want to say no to anyone," I understand you. But here's a truth that saves many women. Anyone who says yes to everything becomes a house without a door. And a house without a door gets invaded. Sometimes not physically, emotionally. People asking and asking and asking, and you emptying yourself. And then you come back to the question in our title, why do you keep struggling with money? Because you give what you shouldn't. You lend what you shouldn't. You give up what you should be protecting. Now I want to prepare you for item number 5, because it's the climax. It's the most material, the most direct, and the one that creates the strongest feeling of shift, your wallet and your money. But before that, a simple, quick invitation that helps the channel and builds community. If this content is giving you clarity, subscribe now. This channel is new, and subscribing is like saying, I want practical and symbolic guidance, without fantasy and without fear. And I promise we'll build something you'll use for years. Take a breath, because now we're going into the 5th item, the one most directly connected to money itself. And it's here that I'll show you a small change that affects your sense of abundance and your discipline. Let's go. Now we arrive at the fifth item, and this one is the most direct, the most concrete, and maybe the most revealing. Because here, there's no way to pretend. This touches money head-on. The fifth thing financially stable people almost never do the wrong way, but many people do without noticing, is treating their wallet like it's just any random pocket. I'm talking about two things: old wallets, overloaded with the past, and wallets that are gifted or passed along the wrong way. You may not realize this, but your wallet is where your mind stores your relationship with money. And when that place becomes cluttered, old receipts, expired cards, cancelled accounts, loose coins, you're unknowingly carrying a museum of your worries. And let me say this with care, especially looking at what many women carry. You hold a lot: bills, family needs, anxiety, memories. The wallet becomes an extension of that holding. But money doesn't like being squeezed. Money likes flow, with order. So here's the practical rule, very simply. An old, cluttered wallet becomes a daily symbol of scarcity, and a daily symbol turns into daily behavior. Now pay attention. It's not the wallet that creates money. It's what changes after your mind shifts. When you organize it, you feel more capable. When you feel more capable, you negotiate better. You decide better. You spend better. And then money starts staying in your hands longer. Let me tell you a short story I've seen in many different versions. A woman had been using the same wallet for years. She felt attached to it because it was a gift from someone important, and that makes sense. But the wallet was heavy: old papers, debt reminders, cards that no longer existed, receipts, notes. And every time she opened it, she felt a tiny spike of stress, small, almost invisible, but repeated every single day. One day, she decided to make a simple change. She either got a new wallet, or if buying one wasn't possible, she took the one she had and reorganized it with intention. And here's the key. She didn't do it as consumption. She did it as preparation, as if saying, "I'm ready for a more organized chapter." Not long after, what always happens when someone changes internally started to happen. She began seeing opportunities where she used to see only problems. She made a phone call she had been postponing. She asked for a better rate. She stopped accepting delays, and a door opened. Do you see? The object isn't magic. The object is an anchor. It pulls you into a mental state. Now I'm going to give you a simple step-by-step you can do today without spending anything. Step 1, empty your wallet completely. Take everything out, everything. Step 2, separate into 3 groups. Essentials: IDs and cards you truly use. Money, bills and coins. The past: old receipts, expired cards, cancelled accounts, papers that only add weight. And here's a sentence you should say while doing this, because it closes the cycle and gives your mind direction. I appreciate what has passed, and I make space for what's coming. Step 3, clean the inside with a dry cloth, slowly, like you're preparing a home to receive guests. Because symbolically, that's exactly what you're doing, preparing a place for provision. Step 4, place 1 coin inside, just 1. This isn't superstition, it's a psychological gesture. You're telling yourself that this space doesn't begin empty. You're training your mind to see continuity instead of lack. Now here's a golden rule that financially stable people know, and almost no one talks about: never gift an empty wallet. If you're giving someone a wallet, place at least 1 coin inside. That's not magic, it's symbolic education. It says, I wish you flow, not emptiness. And pay attention to a common mistake. Keeping an old wallet stored away with papers still inside, just as a memory, that's storing financial past energy. It's like leaving a door slightly open to anxiety. If you have an old wallet stored somewhere, do one of these. Empty it completely and store it clean as a memory, without weight. Let it go respectfully. Or donate it the right way, never empty. Now notice how all of this connects to everything we've covered. Item 1. Don't give away the base of your sustenance. Item 2. Close what's stalled. Item 3. Protect your dignity and your boundaries. Item 4. A home needs a stable core. Item 5. Money needs order and space. And here's the strongest point of Or you're not struggling with money because you're incapable. Very often you're struggling because you're living with micro-leaks of energy, of time, of order, of boundaries. And when you close those leaks, you regain your footing. If this fifth item made you think of someone, a friend, a sister, a neighbor, share this video with her. Because some women don't need more theory. They need a gentle push to regain control. Take a breath. Now that you know all 5 things, I want to give you the closing, a simple way to seal everything, and most importantly, a 7-day routine so you can feel real change. No exaggerated promises, just consistency and intention. Let's close this together. Now pause, truly pause, because you've just seen something most people never see. Many losses don't happen all at once. They happen through small, repeated, silent leaks. And I don't want you to leave here afraid. I want you to leave here relieved. So here's a closing that's simple, safe, and practical, followed by a 7-day routine. Not to become someone else overnight, but to feel in your body that you've taken control back. The closing, 3 simple steps. Step 1, choose what stays. Say to yourself, in my home, what sustains me stays. Because prosperity begins when you decide what's essential and stop living on improvisation. Step 2, close one cycle. Choose just one stalled thing, a broken object, an open task, a small mess, and finish it today. And repeat, I close loops. I don't carry weight. It sounds like a sentence, but it works like an internal command. Step 3, prepare space. Prepare space in the place that represents flow most clearly for you. It might be a drawer, your bag, your wallet, or a corner of the kitchen, and say, I make space for the new, with order. That's it. If you do only this, your mental state already shifts. And mindset is half the game. The 7-day routine, light, real, doable. The secret here isn't intensity, it's consistency. Day 1. Spend 5 minutes organizing the kitchen or a spot that gives you a sense of foundation. Just 5 minutes. Phrase, I sustain my home with calm. Day 2. Close one stalled item. Fix it, discard it, or separate it to resolve. Just one. Phrase, I release what was stuck. Day 3. Care for something personal as an act of dignity. Nothing expensive, just intentional. Phrase, I respect myself and I protect myself. Day 4. Say no to one small thing that drains you, a request, a favor, an obligation. Phrase, I help without emptying myself. Day 5. Organize your wallet or bag. Remove old papers, keep the essentials, place one coin. Phrase, I make space for provision. Day 6. Choose one thing to donate the right way, something neutral without giving away your base. Phrase, I give with awareness. Day 7. Do a quick review. What improved in your sense of peace? What do you want to keep? Phrase, I close leaks and keep what supports me. Now understand the most important thing. You're not trying to control the world. You're controlling what is controllable, what comes in, what goes out, what you tolerate, what you carry, what you protect. And before I end, I want to hear from you, because this strengthens you and strengthens other women too. Comment below. I close the leaks and make space for the new. And if you completed at least one of these steps, also write, done. Just that. Because when you write it, you commit to yourself. Now I'll close with one last message and tell you what the next video will be about, because the next one is even more practical. Did you notice? At the core, it wasn't bad luck, it was unclosed leaks. When you protect your foundation, close what's stalled, respect your limits, care for the core of your home, and bring order to money, you regain your footing. And when you have footing, you choose better. So here's my final ask. If this video helped you, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next video is the perfect continuation of this one. In the next video, I'll show you 3 places in the home that quietly drain money, without you even noticing, and how to fix them in a practical way, spending little to nothing. And to close this one, comment here. I close the leaks, and I choose myself. I'll be reading the comments and pinning the strongest ones. I'll see you in the next video.